All right. I basically think we're already in, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's no intro or whatever.
Yeah.
I want to ask when, because we talked about this already, when did you start thinking about the clothing brand Fjord? Or, yeah, it's called Fjord Outerwear Clothing Brand, right?
Fjord Outerwear, yeah. So Fjord Outerwear was born out of error. Honestly, like the brand itself came to be as a mistake and just an inspiration after kind of doing a lot of reflection after where the brand was back in 2021.
Okay.
So we started off as a startup, and this was a startup rooted in straight out of university. I went to the University of Toronto, still recovering.
Okay.
But it was a great experience. We got to basically create a whole organization solely for the purpose of creating sustainable packaging for agricultural products all around Canada. And within that was a lot of learning. Like I was one of the founders, and like that took me to a place of understanding how organizations work, like how do people manage, just like the whole journey of like the documents and the criteria of like, you know, actually starting something up, the act of pitching and all that stuff.
Did you have to go to like other founders, Vice Capital, for angel investors, that sort of thing? For
sure. My professor, he actually was that. Professor Paul.
Shout out.
Shout out Professor Paul. But he like it was really just like a mentorship kind of relationship that I had with the professor, in that he really showed me the ropes in terms of kind of, okay, well, we need a cash flow statement, we need to do that competitive analysis, and it's like all of these things of like what actually constructs like, you know, a business. Like that's what I learned at the very beginning when I first started Fjord as a sustainable packaging solution organization.
Could you explain real quick, what is sustainable packaging?
Ooh, yes.
Especially for agriculture, you said, right?
Yeah. So this was me. I'm gonna nerd out for a little bit here.
Go ahead.
But so sustainable packaging, basically, it's exactly that. It entails finding new innovative solutions to I guess solve the issue of non-compostable packaging that already exists. So these are your things like your styrofoams, your plastics, things like that.
Okay.
And so when we talk about sustainable packaging, it's basically how can we create new materials in order, you know, to transport them effectively, but to also like, you know, hold the structure of the actual packaging is rigid enough to hold things. And so we went ahead and created a packaging from mycelium, it's like a component of fungi. Like it's like on the cellular level, like it acts like a glue. So when you combine it with like wood chips or corn stalks or like feed from like farmhouses and stuff like that, you're able to basically cultivate this new material.
What'd you study in university real quick?
Oh gosh. So in university, I majored in health sciences and I double minored in business science and entrepreneurship and environmental sciences.
Oh my days.
So
okay. Smart. Wow.
I'm literally, again, still recovering.
Yeah.
But it's like that in itself had its own challenge. And then also at the same time, like having or being a part of a startup was its own challenge as well. But I was so invested in it because it was like, you know, it was aligned with my degree at the time, right? So, you know, the science component, the business component, and the environmental, you know, sustainability component, took it to the extent of, you know, where I could take it without having as much capital. And like, I'm not sure if you're aware, but like in order for you to, you know, go into packaging manufacturing, like you need your facilities and you need your it's super capital intensive.
Okay.
So just a lot of funding, a lot of money, a lot of partnerships, and just like because I was balancing so much, I felt that I couldn't sustain it. But within that journey, that's where I learned a lot about textiles, and specifically the art of cultivating new materials and like new fabrics and things like that, and kind of like finding innovative approaches to kind of like just creating what already exists, but having a more sustainable lens on it.
Okay. So then how did you transfer that knowledge from that first startup to Fjord?
So I actually took a step back. So I realized kind of the weaknesses that I had within that first initial journey. And I said, first of all, if I want to kind of be in that leadership position and if I want to manage kind of my own startup space, then like it's impossible for me to do that right out of undergrad. Like, I think that there's a lot of learning and there's a lot of, I guess, just vulnerability, but I don't know. Like, there's just a thought that always kind of rang in my head when it came to, okay, well, if I don't have this real world experience, like how am I able to translate that into like the actual brand that I want to create? And so I took a step back. I joined the corporate world.
That's actually a very smart thing to do.
Yeah. And I was strategic about it. I was like, you know what? Like, I'm going to start out in like a corporate environment. And I was applying. I was like, let me understand how organizations work. Like,
what year was this real quick?
Oh God, this was
2022?
Around 2022-ish.
The job market was better back then.
It was better.
Okay.
It was better. But it was still bad.
Okay.
Like, it was still bad because originally, and I hated applying for jobs.
I'm
Like,
in that process right now.
Yeah, like it's tough because it's like catering your resume to every single position, your cover letters,
all the keywords, having to swap them and all that.
I don't know. Have you heard about the XYZ format?
No, I know about STAR, but
okay. So the XYZ format is like the way that you structure a resume, so that is it an ATS system?
Yeah, applicant tracking system.
Yeah, so that that system basically recognizes your resume in the most efficient way possible. XYZ format. So that was like hell constructing that.
Yeah. But then you got the job.
I got the job. And so worked my way up from a sales position within an insurance company.
You did sales.
I did sales.
I'm just interrupting you. I'm interested. You did what industry? We're digressing. What industry did you do sales in?
I did sales in corporate insurance.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to ask.
Yeah. let's not disclose that.
Right.
But I did sales in corporate insurance, and am I allowed to swear? Whoops.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. You're good.
It was so hard. It was like 8 hours a day, and it was like
9 to
just
5.
back to back. Like, yeah, your regular 9 to 5, but this time it's like you're on the phone and you're trying to convince. You're not doing any outbound calls, so everything is like people calling in.
Inbound.
Inbound. And so it's like a call center environment. And
Is
I
it
was
a
like,
boiler room sort of thing?
what's that?
Have you ever seen the film Boiler Room? No. It's where everybody is competing to get calls, like people who step all over each other just to get some money, that sort of thing. It's not collaborative.
No, it wasn't commissioned. So like,
okay.
So the actual company, like Chef's Kiss, like I genuinely believe that, you know, I was very thankful and blessed that where I worked was really great. It's just the role, like it ate inside of me. Like I hated it. And, like at first I was like, sales, no problem. I can talk. Like I could sell things, no problem. I can sell a pen to somebody who, you know, doesn't even need a pen.
Right,
like,
okay. I can sell water to a fish.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the saying. But then I was like, okay, you know what? I need to get out of here. Like what else can I do? Like I need to start applying for new jobs. And then I learned the whole system of like internal applications, of how like companies structure like
recruits.
Yeah, like their recruitment system inside an organization.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna book a whole bunch of coffee chats with people who have like these really cool positions that I have no idea
Okay.
what they do, but it's like they'll be like a corporate climate strategist. What is that? Don't know. And they'll have like these crazy titles. Like they'll be like business analyst within the learning and training development department, and
Something
I'll be
you
like,
couldn't
what?
search for, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know what that is. Message them on Teams, and I'm like, hey, my name is Nai. I'm in sales. Are you free Thursday, 12 o'clock? I just want to have a 30-minute conversation.
Yeah.
I did that, and I met a hiring manager for somebody who was hiring at the time for like a position called like an expert coach. And I won't disclose exactly like what the role entailed, but it really just sounds like that. An expert coach for just to train, I guess, new hire people within the sales teams.
Okay.
So,
Onboarding person. kind of.
yes,
Okay.
the onboarding person. And I'm like, you know what? This sounds cool. I'm going to apply to this position. I already met the hiring manager. Like, I just needed to get out of sales. Even though I was training people to go into sales,
Yeah.
I was like, whatever, it's fine. And yeah, got that job. and then I just worked my way up. I was like, every single time I built a knowledge base and experience from that position, I just contacted the next person that I was like, that role sounds interesting.
Wow.
And yeah, fortunately I had the opportunity to work on so many different projects. So in terms of like experience, that's where a lot of the development came when it came to understanding how organizations work, because that was the ultimate goal originally, right? As to why I started. And I knew in my heart, like, I do not want to be in a corporate space. Like, that's not who I am. But I think that there's so much value in just at least being in it temporarily so that you can extract the information and then put it into your own thing. So
So that's a recommendation to whoever is thinking about starting their own clothing brand. Try corporate first. Maybe. No? Okay.
I mean,
Not for
yeah,
everybody.
like I would say try the thing that you think like you wouldn't like for the sake of getting money.
Of course.
and B, for the long-term outcome. Because if it's the skill that you want to develop, then it doesn't necessarily matter like the company, if that makes any sense, right?
No, it does.
So, I guess it does, but it also doesn't, because I work in insurance, right? Insurance had nothing to do with my degree. It had nothing to do with kind of, the industry that I wanted to be a part of. But I knew because of how big the company was, I was like, yeah, let me start off in entry level so that I guess I'm aware of what other roles exist within the company, so that I can translate that into my own company and say, okay, no, we have, for example, people are within, for example, sales. What does that entail? Okay, well, I did sales. So now that I know kind of the criteria of like the measurements of success and, performance and all that stuff.
Sales
like
activities, all that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And then like the leadership factors of like coaching people, being like a strong leader, being there for people, like that support system. Okay, I had that experience from that position. Okay, now let me take that, put it into my own thing now. So, and I'm still going, like every day is like a new learning, and every day is a new adventure. Yeah. But yeah, that's my experience.
Where did the name Fjord come from? We talked about this a little bit Saturday.
Yeah. So fjord itself is the concept of a fjord. It's a natural phenomenon that exists in nature, and it is like the actual structure of it is created by melting ice glaciers due to like a rise in like sea level. And
Health sciences.
oh my gosh, I every single time people ask me questions, I'm like, should I hold back on like sharing how much of a nerd I am? But
No, go for it.
but yeah, so the original concept came to me because I it was so crazy. I was doing during the pandemic. It's so funny. Have you ever went on YouTube and you just searched up like nighttime driving road trip or like
No, not me.
okay.
I don't think it's weird, but
Okay.
why?
Okay. So during COVID, especially like when I was like pulling all-nighters and like undergrad and stuff like that, I needed like obviously I couldn't go outside. So I put up on my my TV on YouTube and I searched up driving Switzerland or driving New York or driving, and it'll show you like all these videos of like these 4-hour long drives of just somebody, like there's no sound, no music, it's just somebody driving through like the streets of wherever you say. And then so one day I clicked on like driving through Switzerland. It just came on my recommendation, my feed, and there were these massive, like these beautiful landscapes of exactly that, like a fjord, because fjords are native to Switzerland and like a whole bunch of other different places, but mainly like Switzerland. And so I'm like, holy shit, like I've never seen this before. I don't even know how to pronounce this thing. Like,
I didn't either.
yeah, and it kind of raised curiosity because I'm like also a really big geography person, and I'm like, I don't know, like I just kind of went into like a deep dive, like a research kind of thing of like what is this?
Yeah.
Because it was so beautiful. Like if you Google it, if you look it up, it's like these crazy big structures, and they kind of look like mountains, but not really. And so
it's a natural phenomenon that just inspired you, basically.
it's not even just that, because when I'm looking at it, it invokes a feeling of just like this ultimate power. And it's like you can tell of like how like rigid it is. It's dynamic. It like takes over like these large spaces. And what I wanted to, like, as soon as I kind of saw that, I'm like, there's so much more deeper meaning, because at the end of the day, like the actual structure of a fjord, it's so beautiful. However, coincidentally or ironically, it got created because of, I guess, the effects of like climate change and things like that. So I wanted to translate that. And when I'm thinking about when I was thinking about a brand name, like I'm thinking, and then it was almost like this aha moment of like, I want my brand name to represent kind of
power, you said.
Like what I want, like the feeling of the brand, and you know, the messaging behind the brand, like for the brand to still be like this beautiful thing, although you're encountering so many difficult challenges and things like that. So the ultimate meaning of like how a fjord became to be, and you know, the actual structure of it, the beauty, the nature, and then just kind of almost like making like a parallel between that and what I want my brand to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do I word this? So is that like part of your brand's identity? Is that basically it?
I would say. I think my brand's identity feeds more into the people that we serve. So we're taking it back to I guess outerwear now, right? So before we were
on Fjord as a
sustainability packaging, fell in love with the idea of textile manufacturing and creating innovative kind of textiles, translated it into starting my own outerwear brand. And it was mainly because like I love being in outdoor spaces, but I also grew up in Calgary, and everybody around me was, you know, doing these like big crazy outdoorsy things of, you
like
know,
hiking, snowboarding,
like hiking, snowboarding,
kayaking.
like I knew like equestrians, like
What?
like it was crazy because everybody had like some sort of outdoor type of sport on their roster, and I'm like, I I like going on my little trail walks, and
I think that's what I've seen more. I've never seen this equestrian thing.
really, but
Equestrian?
equestrian. I think so.
That's
like,
new to me. I don't know what that is.
but yeah, it's like really unique to Calgary because like if you go to really anywhere else, it's like it's hard to encounter like people who are just so, I guess, outdoorsy. But
Okay.
anyways, so I kind of felt underrepresented. I felt like the clothing that existed currently in the market was very towards kind of people who were experts in sport. And you know, the material, like the fashion of it didn't really align with like what I would wear. And also at the same time, like after COVID, I was just balancing like this hybrid life of, you know, okay, doing virtual online work, online school, but then also wanting to make time for, you know, as things started to like open back up, like I wanted to be outside more. Like there were so many things that I wanted to do in a day because I never really got the chance to do it, like let's say like on lockdown. And then as I spoke to people, I found that a lot of people were encountering kind of that same challenge as well of finding outdoor wear that molds to their own personal lifestyles if they have a lot going on. It's not the fact that they're, you know, climbing the highest mountain, skiing the steepest slopes, but, you know, they're going to their 9 to 5, but then after, you know, I don't know, they're going to like a bar after or grocery shopping or whatever people do after. Specifically people who live in these urban environments. So like Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, where like, you know, like if you live in these downtown or these core type of cities, you have to kind of leave the city space in order for you to be on like this mountain. So I kind of wanted to redefine the idea of what it means to be outside, like what it means to like be seen, be heard, feel safe, and just be represented in outdoor spaces, especially for people of color, people who I guess haven't had the opportunity to, or I guess let me reframe it. Outside spaces wasn't necessarily accessible, which is very ironic to say because it's outside. You could just go outside. But
you were talking during pandemic though. That's where it started.
Yeah. So that's where it started. But even then, like the intimidation of it all, like I don't know. Like I'll ask my friends, "Hey, do you want to go on this like hike?" And they'll be like, "Nah, that's that white people shit." Like.
That's what I would say.
Yeah, but like also at the same time, it's like yes, there's that way of thinking, that there's that thought, but also like why the fuck not? You know, like it doesn't have to be like I'm not trying to climb my Mount Everest, but do you see how kind of like outdoor spaces, it's almost like monopolized for like one group of people, or like it's associated with like one group of people, which is like it's
the extroverted, super outgoing sort of like. Oh, I go snowboarding every time winter comes out. I'm always hiking. Not the people who are just like regular professionals.
Right.
That want to kind of just go out once in a while sort of thing.
Yeah.
And you're here to kind of target those people and help them. Okay.
Exactly.
Did you do any sort of market research beforehand, or do you feel like you don't really need to just test the waters right now?
No, for sure. I think I did a lot of market research. I think I did too much. I think that's what prevented me from starting initially. Just like getting into my head, making sure I have all, like, do people actually want this?
Analysis
like, is
paralysis,
this? Yes, for sure. It got to a point where I was like, okay, you know what? Like, there's definitely a demand for this. Like, there's brands like Arc'teryx and North Face and Columbia. Like, of course, people would want this. These brands already exist. It's just my job to kind of cater towards the people that are not necessarily that audience or their audience.
So to someone who is thinking about starting their own clothing brand right now, say they're 16, you know, in high school, and they watch other entrepreneur influencers, how would you teach them to do their own market research from a high school standpoint?
Yeah.
High schooler standpoint, yeah.
The first thing that I ever did when it came to starting the brand, I booked a trip to Vancouver and Well, the main purpose was to go see my friend, but I'm like, you know what? If I could make a business trip out of this, I will.
Nice.
I booked a trip to Vancouver, and because Vancouver, it's like rainy season, like all the time. Like it's raining all the time. And I think this was back in like February, where like I don't know the most amount of rain was at the time. Um, and I went out on the streets, and I had a little. I didn't even have a piece of paper. I think I had like I don't know, like a piece of tissue. And I just got this idea, and I was like, I'm going to count every single person who's wearing a jacket, like a raincoat. And then versus the people who are wearing like no raincoat, like maybe, I don't know, like a trench or super puff. I don't know, whatever. Just something that's not a raincoat. And then lo and behold, a lot of people in Vancouver wear raincoats.
Yeah.
A lot of people. And so like, and at this point, like I was actually taking the bus. So I'm like, you know, on the bus looking out the window, and I'm tallying up these people. And then I come back and I'm like, this is a form of market research. Like now that I think about it, I look absolutely ridiculous.
I mean, you were just by
But
yourself on the bench, just writing
yeah,
stuff down. That's probably normal, right?
for sure. But also at the same time, it's like, I think people have this understanding that market research is like this super, super big thing. There's
Yeah.
like, you know, there's like so much strategy. And although, yeah, for sure, but like you can just go into the area or the environment where you see yourself selling something and just look around, like observe and look around as to like where would your product fit in the space of products that already exist.
Okay. So if you're in high school, you want to sell beanies, you can sit at maybe one of the assemblies or whatever,
Yeah,
count how many people have beanies, and that
exactly.
could count as market research.
For sure.
Okay.
Because now if you're talking about high school, like, are you going to all the like football games? Like, are you going to like, you know, whatever sports games? You can even like talk to like your student unions as well, like in high school. Like if you have a product to sell and you can kind of collaborate with like the student union, like I don't see why not. They like if they like I don't think they won't be supportive of what you're trying to put out.
Fair.
And so it's really just positioning yourself in a way where you're able to see like your audience and making note of what are they already doing and how can you kind of implement your idea into kind of like what they're already doing, if that makes any sense.
No, it does. Like, how
Yeah.
can you make it serve them right now?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Say I was in high school and I was somebody who was like maybe introverted. I have
Right.
the idea, but I'm kind of scared to go to these football games. I don't have
Yeah.
any friends that also go to these football games.
Yeah.
You seem like somebody who is very like confident about whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish. What would you say to somebody who was maybe you when you
Yeah.
were still in high school, but introverted and less confident?
Right. Oh gosh, high school me was something. But okay, introverted and less confident. I mean, like I can speak for myself because I don't think I built my confidence until later in life for sure. When it comes to starting off in a high school environment, I think that like you have to like I don't want to give the advice of just do it because
It's not
been
bad
so
advice to just do it, but I hear you. Yeah.
because a lot of the times like if you are introverted and if you do have kind of this idea that, you know, like it's almost as if like there's like a parasite in your brain stopping you from doing something because of like either because of fear or lack of confidence or things like that. So I think starting from starting from that first, building your confidence, and it can start off small. It could literally just be like talking to somebody in the hallway or I don't know,
What is a way to build confidence?
what like in general, like I'm trying to think about it from the perspective of like being in high school.
Yeah. There's a bunch of like really rude, disrespectful kids who will wouldn't think too hard about like bullying you or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but also I think finding like finding your community is always a thing. I think that
That's a good one. Yeah.
it develops later in life, but I think community itself is the foundation for quite literally everything that you do. I don't think that I was able to build what I've built or just in general without the people around me. And so I was very selective about who I wanted around me as well. And I think that if you are not as confident and not as or just very introverted, I think showing up for yourself. So if you're not confident talking to people in these football games, step number 1 is to go to the football games, and you don't have to actually talk to anyone or do anything. It's just the fact that you've completed step number 1. And once you've completed step number 1, it's like the only thing that you can do is now do step number 2. Right? And you're creating what step number 2 looks like for yourself. Instead of sitting at the back of the bleachers, you're now sitting at the front of the bleachers.
Word.
Right? And then, okay, so now who sits at the front of the bleachers now? Right? So now who are you surrounding yourself now? Who are you surrounding yourself by now? And then in front of the bleachers is now, where you're catching the ball. So it's like,
Catching the ball.
I don't know, like, but it's like, you're kind of creating space for yourself to show up for yourself, whatever that looks like for you. But I think if you want to run a business, you have to have confidence, because you cannot communicate your idea without being confident that your idea is going to work.
I like what you said, especially about the community thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard a lot about people being like, you got to be with people who expect more from you, right? Like people who think you can do better and expect you to do better.
Right.
Because if you're with people who, for example, want to do other things and maybe don't have big plans for their lives or whatever, you're naturally going to become like that, right?
Yeah.
Not to say that there's anything wrong with that, but
Yeah.
finding a finding a community of people who are like-minded. Sounds like generic advice, but I find like the older I get, the more generic advice tends to stick, at least for me.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like I agree with that fully, because I don't think that and again, like, this is not meant to discourage anybody or like look down on anybody, because you removing yourself from a previous group of people that you used to associate yourself with for the betterment of yourself, that says so much about your ability to think critically about where you want to be. And I think that people are so dynamic. People are so different, right? Your goals are not the same as somebody else's goals, right? So it's not somebody else's responsibility to look after you and say, hey, you have a goal, go do it.
Yeah,
like
fair.
it's your responsibility.
Yeah.
And also people outgrow each other as well. And that's something that I'm learning to deal with actively or currently, because there's a lot of guilt as well, right? Like, we tend to associate, the length of time somebody is equivalent to the importance that they have in your life. And that's not always true, right? I think that, there's value in knowing somebody for a specific period of time. But if you're entering a different stage in life, that means you have different goals, and you need new people around you in order to complete those goals. And so, that's something that I'm trying to take my own advice on that.
That's hard. To take it back to the brand, is there anything you're doing now that 3 years ago? Well, actually, let me reverse that. Is there anything you were doing 3 years ago that you thought was super important that now you're like, that was just a waste of time?
Oh, God. Should I say the generic answer of like going out, going to the club? No,
Sure.
hey, I'll still be sometimes. No, like it's so crazy, because I was mentioning to you earlier that I grew up with entrepreneurial parents. And so that workaholic hustler mentality has always it's plagued me, actually. And so I actually regret not doing more things, because I was so focused on, like, I found myself making excuses to not do things.
What kind of excuses?
Oh sorry, I can't come out, like I have school, and then whole time I'm literally just in bed,
I can relate.
scrolling or
Yeah.
whatever, and it's
Yeah.
because the thought of school is on my mind. So if I go out, it's like, oh, I could have been doing school,
Yeah.
right?
No, I agree.
So and it's the same. It's literally the same right now. It's like somebody will hit me up and say, hey, let's go do this, and that, and I'll be like, I have to. I don't
Work
know.
on a
Work on a
business.
business. I got to clock in right now.
Of course, yeah.
But
no, I relate. Yeah.
yeah, so I actually regret not doing more things. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess advice to somebody who is perhaps in university: make sure you make time for doing things.
For sure.
Specifically, what kind of things, real quick?
I don't know, like
What things do you regret not doing?
do I regret not doing? I'm
gonna assume traveling, but you already said you traveled.
I know, not too crazy. Like, obviously, I would always like to travel more. So, I think maybe not being a part of like clubs or
Oh, like at university?
not even like there are so many. I don't know about Calgary, but in Toronto
Not
or
fair.
like
It's not even a comparison.
my bad. But there are so many like different like events that you can go to. I think at one point, like
Calgary doesn't have that.
but like even if it's not like known for it, it still exists somewhere. Like it's just like a pocket that you just gotta find.
Just your special community, yeah.
Yeah, and there's this app. Well, okay, so there's Eventbrite,
Yeah.
right? So if you like, an Eventbrite has its own algorithm for you to like, it recommends like different events that may interest you depending on like previous events that you go to. And so I think there was this one point where I'm like, I need to leave my house. I need to go do something. And like I was just really tired of making excuses. And so I literally went on Eventbrite and I'm like, I don't even remember what I searched that first time, but it was some sort of like, I don't know, like yoga in the park or something. I don't even know what it was. And there was like this group of people who just did like yoga in the park every Thursdays at 7:00.
And you join them?
And I just joined. I pulled up, and I kid you not, till this day, there is like one of my ride or dies, my closest friends. That's how I met them.
Interesting.
And so I started doing that. Literally just going on my ones, not with anybody. I'll go on Eventbrite. I'll be like, I'm gonna do that. That sounds cool. Go, I'd get a ticket. And there's so many free tickets too, to like so many different things. But that's what I regret not doing, like earlier, because for me in school, I just wanted to go to school, go to my class and get out. Like I was not involved in anything. Like, also the commute was crazy for me. So I just did not want to be on campus. So like, I just wish I built my community earlier. And it wasn't until like I did that Eventbrite method where I'm like, okay, like this actually works. Like these are like long-term connections. These are also like some dope ass events as well that happen around the city with like some, cool ass people. And yeah.
As you're building the clothing brand, you just said that it's important to build your community early. What does that look like? Do you mean having a designer? Does that mean having a content creator? Like who's in this community? What character traits should they have? Right.
So, well, initially when you're starting your everything, you're the content creator, you're the designer, you're in charge of everything, basically. And when I talk about community, I don't necessarily speak about who has hands-on inside like the business directly. Because when you're starting out, you don't have a budget for paying people to do your accounting and all of that stuff, right? So it's really important that you're surrounding yourself with people who are starting their own things as well. But also like just having a genuine support system. And I say this because oftentimes than not, the way that you're able to generate like that aha moment is by like getting feedback from other people. And so you need these other people to talk to about your ideas. And that's actually my other biggest form of advice is talk to people about your ideas. Like, do not hold it in. And the more people you talk to about your ideas, the more they're able to connect you with other people who know other people who know other people.
Word. Networking, right?
Networking, it will save you. Like, that is the only way that I'm actually able to operate what I'm doing right now. But
speaking about that, actually, the cameras, the setup that you guys had, the audience isn't gonna know this, but when I met you, you came with like a whole group, your posse, right, of creators with like expensive gear. You guys were trying to shoot, I think it was an ad for the brand. Is that right?
This was for a proof of concept for a pilot product that we're launching.
Wow.
And it was, oh my gosh, it was like 12 to 15 people. Mind you, I moved out of Calgary when I was in 2019. And this is my first, well, maybe no, this is my second time back after like 5-ish years. And so it's been almost 4 months in the making of a 2-day shoot.
That's normal. I think Natsum said the same thing.
Yeah. And it was, I think I have gray hairs because of it.
I barely ate.
I think I took 2 bites of the same sandwich over 2 days.
Yeah.
But it was one of the most fulfilling things because seeing the final product and seeing the outcome and seeing how everybody genuinely like wanted to be there. Usually like when I call on talent or like when I call on an actor or, you know, I'll say, okay, hard stop after the 8-hour mark for them because I don't want them on a set more than 8+ hours.
Yeah.
And so just to be respectful of their time. And so when I'm offering, for example, the talent, hey, like you can go home, and they're happy to stick around and just help out, like it genuinely brought tears to my eyes yesterday because, oh my God, I'm gonna cry. Because it was a situation of like, I don't know anybody in this room right now. Like like all I know about them is that they are the sickest creators in all aspects. Like the level of passion and creativity and the way they communicated with one another, it felt so natural. And so like I'm looking around the room and I'm like part of me is like, yeah, this is fucked. I don't know how I did this shit. Like imposter syndrome got to me.
Oh yeah.
But like it was, it was a beautiful sight to see, like the cohesion of it all.
How did this all start to come together? Because you mentioned networking. I'm just trying to build it up for somebody who is maybe 4 months ahead or 4 months behind. So they want to do the proof of concept thing as well.
Reach out to the person that you think won't respond. So
this is your sales background, eh?
Oh, for sure. Everything. This is a PR stunt for me. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm joking. But like when I met David, he was my screenwriter. We were in high school, and I have actually, like, we were not really connected in high school. We weren't really friends in high school. All I know about him is that we've been following each other for like 7+ years or whatever. And like, you know, on Instagram where it's like, if you're following somebody, it's like, yeah, you're liking their things, but that's really all the interaction that you have for like years at a time, right? The only connection is that, oh, I knew you 7 years ago, 8 years ago, whatever. So one day I post on my story and I'm like, hey, looking for a screenwriter. And I get a message from David and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't know like you went to film school and you're a screenwriter and like and all this stuff. So I'm like, hey David, like can we hop on? I'm also a very big fan of these 30-minute chats. I don't know if you can tell.
No,
but,
I understand. Sales.
yeah. So then I'm like, David, let's hop on a call. I really want to run an idea by you. And that's how it started. Like, that's genuinely how it started. I didn't have an AC. I didn't have a director of photography until a week out, or maybe like a week and a half out into the shoot. But what I did have was a mission and
The will.
and a will, for sure. A mission and a will. And David. Thank you, David. No, a big shout out David, because
Shout
if
out
it wasn't
David.
him, it wasn't for him, I would not be here right now. But it was quite literally like getting the writing on the paper is where you start. And then you don't actually have to see who's going to be at the end of the table until a week in advance. And sometimes it's really the case of like these last minute decisions that you're making. Like you just have to do that. Like you cannot plan everything.
That's a good one.
And that's what I'm learning for sure. Like that's one of the hardest things to learn because I'm a planner. And when things go wrong, I'm like my brain is like like a trying to troubleshoot kind of how to solve the problem, but also at the same time, like I recognize that not everything can be written down on paper. So
there's someone listening to this right now probably feeling anxious because all the plans that they've made isn't it's not coming together, the puzzle pieces aren't fitting.
yeah.
What would you say to that person?
It's not supposed to fit. like what puzzle are you trying to make, really? Like, are you trying to make, because I think there's more value in rolling with the punches, because after every decision that you make right then and there, that leads to a new decision. It's kind of like a flow, right? And so if you are trying to stick to the original plan, you're not going to be exposed to like these different challenges. Like I had so many equipment failure. Like although the budget was the budget for the amount of equipment we had, there were still things that failed, right? And so on paper, if a shot was listed as, okay, we got to use a tripod, an 85mm lens, it has to be in this angle. Okay, what happens if the tripod breaks? Right? What are you going to do then? So,
you got to prop it on something.
You can prop it on something. You could use a gimbal. You could use, I don't know, manpower. Somebody's just holding it, or you can restructure the scene in that. Actually, no, wait, I do like the rugged shakiness of the actual camera. Like I don't want it to be a static shot. So it's making these decisions right then and there in the moment that actually will serve you so much better, because like that's where your creativity is flowing, right? Like you genuinely cannot have everything on paper, and I think that people spiral if they do.
I can understand.
Yeah, and yeah, getting comfortable with failure as well is kind of that last advice. Everything that I'm saying right now, I need to take that advice. So I don't want people to think that like I'm spitting, but also like this is what I do, because this is something that like I try to do it, but it's also like I genuinely need to take my own advice too.
What would you say has been the hardest part of this? And it might be hard to even distill it down to one. So maybe distill it down to three if that's better. What would you say has been the hardest part of starting and launching this brand?
The hardest part would be money. And
That would make sense.
because there's the perspective of you want to pay people for their time, right? Collaboration, like the root of the brand itself, like we're rooted in collaboration. And like we take, for example, creativity very, very seriously. And the ability for other people to share their ideas and all that kind of stuff. Like there's so much value in that. And so like the brand itself, it can't form without other people getting involved. And so because of that, like internally, you're always consistently battling. Okay, well, I want to pay people for their time. I want to pay people like what they deserve and all this stuff. But also, I need to manage my inventory costs and my my marketing costs
Yeah.
and my just production costs as my operations as a whole.
Mm.
And so now it's like, okay, if the brand is rooted in collaboration and we have the people first approach and we want to be creative as possible, meaning we want partnerships and we want all these things, it's like, okay, there's going to have to be some sort of sacrifice. And I've made sacrifices in every single stage of the business. And I think one of the hardest things so far is letting go of the idea that it has to be perfect right now. Because it's like all that you can see in your head is like the end vision, right? But if you don't have the money and if you don't have the people and if you don't have, everything to perfectly execute, then obviously it's not going to be perfect. And so sometimes it's kind of just taking a step back and thinking, okay, this is my end goal right here, but I'm actually right here. And so it's doing me a disservice if I think that my brand has to be perfect right now. And so I guess having that mindset is one of the most challenging things.
So we talked about rolling with the punches.
Yeah.
Talked about building a community of people. You have to have a community of people who are, well, like-minded is what they say, but you just mean people who are also doing the same thing as you. Mm-hmm. And we've talked about building confidence by taking it one step at a time. Yeah. Right. Final question. Where can people find you when they want to connect with you?
Oh, yes.
And your brand specifically.
Yes. You can find me at fjord.outerwear. And that's OUTERWEAR, fjord.outerwear. On Instagram, and then it is www.fjordouterwear.com as our website. Everything else is fjord.outerwear.
And I'm going to put this in the video, of course.
Yes.
But thank you so much for being on my podcast. I really appreciate you giving me your time.
Yes, of course. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for asking me the questions that you asked, and I had a fun time.